Hello my dear students, welcome to your Geography's online class. Today, in this class, we will be discussing about the chapter Industries. In specific, today's topic would be the factors affecting the growth of industries in a particular location. In this, what we need to understand about the factors is the basic concept that gives you the idea that how an industry would be set up in a place and how it can grow. So most importantly, the factor that affects the growth of an industry is the availability of raw materials, resources like raw materials, supply of water, energy resources like that of electricity or easy availability of coal, and even transportation and service plays a very important role. So these factors which helps the growth of industries in a long run supports the development of that very industries in various sectors. The other, if these factors lacks, or you say that if an industry is not supported by these various factors, then we would see that industries would not be flourishing as we expect for it. So, in this class, we will be discussing the factors affecting the growth of an industries. So, the first factor to be discussed is raw materials. We see that an industry is always close by to the location of raw materials, or we see wherever raw material is easily available. So, industries should be set up in such a place. This helps in cut of the transportation cost. At the same time, the raw materials which are easily available and available nearby facilitates a faster growth. At the same, there are also certain industries where the raw materials, if it reaches from very far away, it loses its importance or quality of that particular raw material. Hence, an industry has to be located very close to the region where raw material is easily available. The second is power as a factor affecting the growth of an industry. Power helps run the machine in an industry. Hence, there has to be an uninterrupted, at the same also cheaper rates of power supply in one particular industries for its growth. The third factor that affects the growth of an industry is labor. There has to be an easy availability of laborers in and around the location of an industry. Specifically, we see that an industry is required both skilled as well as unskilled labor, and they have to be quite experienced as well. So, easy availability of labor at cheaper rates or cheaper price becomes much important for an industry for its growth. The fourth factor is transport. Now, transport here plays a very important role in a growth of an industry, because for all the raw materials that have been brought to an industries or any of the finished products that are produced in that particular industry has to be moved. For like an industry that requires cotton as its raw material, we see it is transport that helps bringing this cotton from the nearby agricultural fields to the industry or to the factory. As well, at the same time, we see the cotton textile industries, after processing the cotton, it produces cotton textile or cotton goods, mostly clothes. And these clothes has to be reached to the market in order to sell it and earn revenue out of it. Hence, transportation plays a very important role in the movement of raw materials to the factory from the source, and at the same time the finished products that a factory produces has to be moved out of the factory for selling it. So this is where we see the transport plays a very important role. The fifth factor that affects the growth of an industry is market. And market has to be in a close proximity in order to earn a larger revenue. If we say how that we earn larger revenue in terms of closer proximity to the market is, here there are certain goods to what is we call perishable goods. If the distance between the factory and the market is large, then in this case what happens is the goods that are produced in the market may degrade in their quality, hence they may not get a better price in the market than as compared to the nearby market. So this is the reason why there has to be a closer proximity to the market. The next is market at a distant place always increases the cost of transportations from factory till that particular market. So this is also in order to cut the transportation cost, the closer proximity of the market becomes vulnerable. The sixth factor that affects the industrial growth is capital. Capital here in a very simple term means money. An investment of money or a sum of money is required in order to set up an industry, because this investment helps us in purchasing different machines, even paying off the transportation cost, and also for the powers and purchasing of raw materials. So this is where investment, either huge if for a large scale industry, or you can even have a smaller investment for the cottage industries or a small scale industries. But we see that capital investment is required for setting up of an industries, at the same also running the industries. Apart from these six factors, there are also two other factors that plays a very important role in setting up an industries or even for the growth of industries, and those are government policies and availability of water. Water is very important because it is required in various purposes in industry. For example, if you take cotton textile industry, we require water mostly for dyeing, that is the coloring of clothes. Now, if you talk about government policies, there always has been, in a country like India, the sources of government becomes very important because they help us in getting lands which becomes available in terms of setting up an industries on the consent of the government, and also an industries runs very smoothly in such a place where there are no conflicts, no wars or no such political disturbances, and hence the effect of government policies becomes very important in the growth of that particular industries in any of the regions where it is set up. Thank you class, you all have a very good time.